messaging strategist, I'm all about the words. But the other day, a product marketer asked me, hey, what about numbers? Do you have thoughts on them? Should I use them? What are some guidelines? Now, I am not an expert in numbers, but I do have some thoughts about how to best use numbers, stats, things like that in your messaging. Now, I do believe that customers do want to see proof, they want to see value and things like that. And so numbers, stats, results are so important to be throughout your website and absolutely in customer stories. But when it comes to top-level messaging, core messaging for a company or for a product, I don't believe that you want to put tons of stats and numbers in there. I don't think it is the place. I think it could be overwhelming, and I think it can muddy up your messaging. So I think that you want to be very intentional about any numbers that you do bring into your messaging. And you want to make sure that they are supporting your core message, your core value proposition, or really helping to bring it to life, because that is what numbers can do really well. I love numbers as a way to bring concreteness and clarity to a benefit or a value proposition. So I've got a couple examples for you. So one is a totally famous example from a classic Apple ad for the iPod. I think it was maybe one of the first iPod ads. And the headline was really simple. It just said, 1,000 songs in your pocket. Now, 1,000 songs in your pocket is something you can grasp. It really helps people understand this massive innovation of going from like a mini disc, which I used to have, or a CD player, MP3 player, to this amazing device that could hold all these songs, 1,000 songs on the go. It was mind-blowing at the time. So that was a perfect example of using numbers to make the value of something really concrete, something anyone could grasp very quickly and be like, wow. So that's one example. Another example is one that I've always liked from BidSketch. They are a proposal software. I've always enjoyed this example in their value proposition, which is create a professional looking proposal in 15 minutes. Now, this 15 minutes is a great way to understand exactly how easy it is to use, how quickly you can get something done. You read that and you really understand what they mean by speed. And it also probably makes you kind of jog your memory and think about, God, it's taking me like 3 hours to do a decent proposal right now. I know that was the case for me back in the day. And so you're able to compare that with how you're doing it today. And this idea of you can do it in 15 minutes is a lot more concrete than just saying fast, easy proposal creation, right? So 15 minutes makes it very clear. So that is another example of how number can be really great. Another one might be if your core value proposition. So for example, say you are a payment processing platform and the core value is that it will help you save a lot of money than taking payments manually or through the mail or something like that. If that is the core value, then having something like save $11 on every transaction would be a very powerful use of a number to make those savings, that value, very concrete for people. And that might be your core message that you repeat again and again, rather than using numbers for every single thing you write, throwing a number in there to show what you mean. I think personally overwhelms people and takes away some of the impact. So when it comes to numbers, they're a great way to get concrete about things. They can validate your claims, but use them sparingly, use them intentionally. Make sure that they are supporting your overall core message, your stake in the ground, and that is a good thing. And finally, I've got one random little tip about numbers that I learned along the way back in my copywriting days, and that is, for some reason, people believe odd or uneven or slightly odd numbers rather than perfect round whole ones. So 11 is more believable than 10. 58 is more believable than 50. So having a imperfect, rough around the edges number is somehow more realistic for folks than a perfectly rounded number. So keep that in mind when you start thinking about using numbers in your messaging.